Hi, it's Glenn O'Neill. Today is August 5th, 2021, and this is episode 2 of A Close Look at Sanfilippo. We're going to go over 10 minutes and cover 5 topics in the world of Sanfilippo Syndrome and some of the work we've been doing here at Cure Sanfilippo Foundation over the past couple of weeks. As a reminder, Sanfilippo Syndrome is a rapidly degenerative and fatal disease in children with no available treatment options or cure. So let's get into it. The first, we're starting out with very devastating news, a devastating loss for a family and for the entire Sanfilippo community. A little girl, Reagan McGee, age 9, passed away just over a week ago. We've met Reagan and met her family many, many times. She was a smiling, bright light every time we would see her, and her parents said in their obituary, it said she loved being around friends and family, displaying her love through a special look, a high five, or simply reaching out to hold your hand. They continued and said Reagan's life, although short, impacted countless lives through her courage, zest for life, and her contagious laughter. Her parents wrote an amazing letter that was read at her service, and in that they wrote, "The night you died, a piece of us died with you, and we will never be the same." The family has strong faith carrying them through. But every time another child passes away, it's a devastating loss to the community and another all too real reminder of why we continue this fight, to help take away this loss and this hurt and to bring better days for children and their families. We send the McGee family all our love, our prayers, and our strength, and we dedicate today's podcast in memory of Reagan. I want to share with you a new article about the evolution of research. You helped start Fund back in 2017. We co-funded this project with Sanfilippo, Australia. The project began at the Hospital of Sick Children in Toronto, Canada, and it was looking at ways to reduce how much heparan sulfate the body makes. If you remember from the last podcast, we talked about heparan sulfate. All of our bodies make it, but children with Sanfilippo syndrome can't break it down, and too much accumulates, causing the devastating effects of Sanfilippo syndrome. Well, some great research continues to be done, and through this research, the team has actually developed a new tool in the laboratory that's going to allow them to test if drugs can impact this pathway of creating heparan sulfate. And in the process of doing this research, they basically came up with a new test assay, which can also now be used by other scientists in the field, which is really valuable. A quote from the article by Dr. Atienza says, "The test was created to help measure the use and effectiveness of new drugs for Sanfilippo, which would block or inhibit the formation of heparan sulfate, thus reducing buildup and tissue damage." So it's really exciting to think that we may figure out ways to reduce the making of heparan sulfate in children with Sanfilippo. And of course, we hope that this could lead to less accumulation and result in a better quality of life, if not even better outcomes. So it's very promising research. Next up, I want to talk about a new and exciting project we have, another viral video campaign. So you might remember the successes of Saving Eliza, Saving Carter, and Save Connor. 3 viral video campaigns collectively helped raise over $4 million for research and have led to 3 clinical trials treating children so far, treating over 40 children. We do these viral campaigns and tell these personal stories for the greater cause to fund research, to bring about clinical trials that can treat as many children as possible. Well, we have a new story to tell, and this new story is a little boy, Simon, in Austin, Texas, and he has Sanfilippo syndrome type B. He's 5 years old, and he's just adorable. He's happy, smiling little boy, and he has absolutely awesome parents, really motivated parents. And he has the most amazing skill, and it's basically shooting basketballs. And without kind of giving too much away, it's something you just have to see to believe, the way this little boy can hit basketball shots. So we thought this might make a unique video to bring awareness and to raise funding. I spent 4 days with the family in Austin, Texas, and a videographer filming and doing interviews. And these, videos that we do, they're really grassroots efforts, creating these video campaigns, finding a videographer, trying to decide what to film, what interview questions to ask, and it's tough to figure out how to put them all together just right with the time and resources we have available. So we're working hard on this and have been, and we hope to have the video campaign out later this year. And we hope that it will certainly help fund a new clinical trial path for Sanfilippo syndrome. Next, I'd like to talk to you about an update to our website. And this, many people may not know about. We now have an ADA, American Disabilities Act, compliant website that allows people with disabilities to create a custom experience to fit their unique needs. This is very important to us. Sanfilippo syndrome is part of the larger rare disease community of 30 million, and the even larger global community of people with disabilities, which make up 1 billion. So, we're very proud to have partnered with the company Accessible to help make our website this ADA compliant. And if you look for the little blue person icon floating on every page of our website, you can find ways to adapt the content to your needs. So this is really about ensuring access for everyone, and we're very proud of it. And finally, I'd like to finish up today with another announcement of new research funded. And this is a big announcement, and this is all thanks to your support. So we create, and we fund research in a variety of ways. One of those ways in 2020 was to request proposals from the scientific community, an RFP. We received many great submissions and had to prioritize what was possible to fund. So we reviewed this. These were reviewed by our Chief Science Officer and Scientific Advisory Board and voted on by our Board of Directors. And as you can imagine, this is a pretty extensive process going through all of these grant submissions in scientific detail, writing of what they are all about. And we selected 5 new exciting projects that could lead to breakthroughs in helping children with Sanfilippo syndrome. And these 5 projects totaled over $1 million. And we were able to do this thanks to the continued support. And we also had contributions and collaborations on several of these projects from various foundations around the world, including Sanfilippo Australia, Save Mickey Foundation here in the United States, Sanfilippo Fighters in Italy, Sanfilippo Portugal, Sanfilippo Barcelona, Sanfilippo Brazil, and Sanfilippo Sud in France. So as you can see, it was a real global effort in helping make these grants possible and make them happen. So to name some of these grants, the funding has gone to UCLA, who's working on exploring the use of novel biomarkers in Sanfilippo syndrome, including the central nervous system exosomes, measurements of nerve and damage destruction, and cytokine inflammatory markers. The second went to University of Naples in Italy, targeting heparan sulfate proteoglycans as a new therapeutic strategy. The third went to TGEM, which stands for Telethon Institute of Genetics and Medicine, also in Italy, looking into the role of heparan sulfate and dopamine as disease modifiers in Sanfilippo. We also funded St. Justine University Hospital in Montreal, Canada, researching neuroprotective peptides for treatment of Sanfilippo. And the last went to University of Sydney in Australia, exploring photobiomodulation parameters in preclinical models of Sanfilippo syndrome. So we're thrilled to have been able to fund these and to get this new research underway. And we'll cover more detail on each of these in future podcasts and as the research progress reports begin to come in. Again, it's the donor support that makes all of this possible. These projects will help answer key questions which can help bring about effective treatments for children with Sanfilippo syndrome. And I'm almost out of time. I'm going to end with a comment that I heard recently at a training conference from a video producer of grassroots videos. And he said whenever he had a true belief in a project, maybe it looked like it was hitting a wall or might not get completed, he just focused his team, their work, their ideas, their thoughts, and they gathered together and said, "This shall be." And with that, the next opportunity came and the next door opened. And I just loved the way that was put, and it reminded me of the early days of our foundation and the work to create the first Saving Eliza video. We all have to believe, with the hard work and working together, there will be effective treatments and even a cure for Sanfilippo. This shall be. So with that is our 10 minutes. I hope it was informational. Thanks for all you do to make the world a better place. See you again in a couple weeks. Thank you so much.